Hello, folks, and welcome to the Counting Sheep podcast. This is episode 55. My name is Ruth, and I am in charge of all these shenanigans here on my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, please welcome back. It has been a hot minute. I don't know what happened. I went away to Nova Scotia for a week, which was absolutely wonderful. And that was mid-September sometime, and then all of a sudden it's October. So I came home from that trip and it seemed like it was like one thing after another. Putting in just some different hours in my little part-time job with the Woolly Thistle, and I had an eye appointment, developed some floaters over vacation, just wanted to check that out, make sure my eye wasn't falling apart. So here we are. I eventually get around to recording. It just takes me a wee bit of time sometimes to get my act together, but I'm here now. We've had some rain, thankfully. I always talk about the weather in Vermont. So yeah, we've had a little bit of rain. A little bit of a storm came through, which was, we were thanking the stars for that. But unfortunately, we're still in a drought state here. So just watching the water, watching the well, that sort of thing. So, and the other thing is we have Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival coming up this weekend. So excited. I will be there on Sunday, and I will be demo spinning with the Six Loose Ladies over in the, I believe they call it the Floral Hall. So I will be there from 10 until noon. And then I plan on perusing the festival. So if you see me around, please stop me, and say hello, introduce yourself, say you know me from the podcast, or you know me from the Woolly Thistle podcast, because I do a couple little, stints over there once in a while. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to catch up. So yeah, so that's Sunday. This Sunday we'll be there. I will be there, demo spinning. And like I said, I'm kind of fresh back from Nova Scotia. I do have some footage from there, as well as some pictures. I will, as always, put it at the end of the video. So in case that's not your jam, you can tune out after I say so long and farewell. So I have a bunch of stuff to show today, so I'm going to jump right in. I had the privilege to once again do a test crochet for JSThreads, otherwise known as the wonderful Jessica Schloss. She is on Instagram and she's on Instagram as JSThreads14, and her Ravelry handle is Say Tuna Fish, and Fish is spelled like F-E-E-S-H. Anyway, I love her pumpkin patterns. She comes out with one almost every fall. And this one is called the Autumn Leaves Pumpkin. So I just want to show you, it is crocheted. I did mine in Peace Fleece. This is the Marigold color. And she walks you right through. She really writes a wonderful pattern, so that's why I like testing for her. And what's great right now is until the end of October, all of her pumpkin patterns are on sale. No code needed. You just go on over to Ravelry. Say Tuna Fish is her name, but I think also you can search her under JSThreads because that's her business name. And yeah, check out her pumpkin patterns. I've made a couple already from her. And yeah, this little business here was just a little bit of floral wire that I wrapped around a pencil and then secured in. And then this is just a piece of leather that I cut and sewed right into the top of the pumpkin. You can make your own stem if you want, like with some green or brown yarn, and crochet your own, amigurumi. You can do whatever you want. I mean, it's such a great way to express yourself and to kind of use different yarns and use up stash. So yeah, so that is the Autumn Leaves Pumpkin by JSThreads. and that was a fun make. And then staying within kind of the vein of decorating for the fall, I decided to once again take a pattern out of this book, A Year of Amigurumi, Friends. And this is by Andrea Ferreira. And I set out to do these guys. So let's see if I can get this in picture here. So this is Olivia Owl, and then this is the Raven. Let me find out what his name is, his or her name. I keep forgetting the names. Rusty the Raven. Yeah, I knew it was. So Rusty the Raven and Olivia the Owl. Aren't they cute? I'm still on the fence about making the hat because I'm not a big pom-pom person, but I wanted to show you. I started off with the small pumpkin. So here's the small pumpkin. Turn it the right way. This one does have a little crocheted stem at the top and some embroidery for like the jack-o'-lantern type deal, and then the little skull. I've made these out of J&S 2-ply. That J&S 2-ply has such a wonderful color range, so it's easy to just kind of pick your colors for amigurumi. So yeah, so my little skull and the little pumpkin. And then Olivia's not all put together yet, the owl, but I want to show you her head, which is so darn cute. She has these little hairs up here at the top of her ears, and of course the safety eyes, the little eye patches, the beak is a riot. So yeah, that's her head. And then I've started on the body. Now I'm doing the body a little bit different. The way I always did amigurumi is just straight single crochet, but the book will point out to you that if you're working in a spiral and you're using 2 colors, it's probably better to use the yarn under method, which means that you're just putting the yarn over the hook the other way, which can be a little awkward at first until you get into a rhythm with it, but it prevents the slanting that happens with regular crochet. So here is the start of her little body, Olivia. So yeah, this is tapestry crochet, so you hide the yarn that you're not working. You hide it as you go with the other color that you are working. Yeah, so I had started this with regular crochet and I just didn't like the way it was spiraling. So I went back, I tore it out, and yeah, so now I like it a lot more because I think it's going to be more representative of her little suit here. So you can see her little suit with the little buttons and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. It's really a lot of fun to look at all the patterns and try to figure out the colors, and yeah, and make a little something for decorating in the fall. I am using, let's see, for the skull and pumpkin, I used 81 charcoal, number 1 white, and then 28 is gold in J&S, and then this orange color they call copper, and that's number 125. It is a kind of a tiny hook. It's a 2.25 millimeter hook, or if you're into the letters, it's a B hook. All right, so that's Olivia the Owl from A Year of Amigurumi, Friends. Yeah, lots of fun there. Okay, so moving on to things that I started that I mentioned the last time. I figured it was, excuse me, my nose is kind of itchy and runny. I tend to get fall allergies, so. So last year at Rhinebeck, I picked up a really nice, kind of a nice ball of yarn that was assigned pooling yarn, and decided to take on the Stems and Petals shawl by Val Merino. And this is the picture of the Stems and Petals shawl there. And that's kind of the shape that it's going to be. And just a little close-up of how the pattern looks. So the idea here being, you know, there's intermittent pulling of the yarn. I purchased my yarn from Cozy Color Works. They had this huge skein of yarn. It was 1,100 yards in this lovely colorway. And they just put numbers on it. They called it assigned pooling number 15. And what kind of hook did they call for? I think it was an F or a 3.75. So I had some little practice sessions with this. I was trying to really get the stitch down so that it looked good. So it is a lot of the green, and then once you hit one of the color splotches, you make one of these stems and petals stitches. So here's how it's looking so far. Like I said, I didn't get too far because I was kind of experimenting with the stitch, trying to get used to it, its construction and so forth. But it really is kind of a cool stitch when you kind of look at it there. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, and the back is the same, so kind of looks the same, because whenever you hit this little color, this color in the yarn, see, there's green here and then it goes into the color, you do one of those little stitches. So yeah, that's fun. Makes me want to look for more kind of assigned pooling patterns, you know. I think it's kind of well, it was the rage last fall, certainly at the Cozy Color Works booth. I might go over there when I'm in the neighborhood, when I'm at Rhinebeck next, what am I talking, next month? It's this month. Yeah, it's coming up in 3 weeks. It's kind of rushing in. So yeah, hopefully I'll get an episode recorded before I actually go to Rhinebeck. I'd like to do recap on Vermont sheep and wool before that. But yeah, so I'd like to get over to her booth at Rhinebeck again and take a look at what she has in terms of the assigned pooling yarns. So yeah, that's wonderful. I love doing a shawl, especially a crocheted shawl like that. You get into a rhythm with it, you know the stitches, and then it just comes together in front of you. All right, so I think that might be it for crochet. I have a little sprinkled in later on, but I wanted to show you a finished object in knitting. I worked really hard on this to get this done, so I'm going to show you my Sunday morning shawl. Now this is a pattern by Espace Tricot, but it is Melissa Clulow, who is the designer for Espace Tricot. This is the Sunday morning shawl. Now I made this out of my own farm yarn. This is my dearly departed Maple, who was a Shetland Romney cross. And I'm just gonna hold it up. It's a nicely sized. I will back up a little bit here and show you how large it is. The one thing I didn't do is there is, as you can see in this pattern, I'm going to show you the pattern because it's totally free. There is this bobble row here, which I had full intention of doing. And I got about 5 inches in with the bobbles and I was done with it. So I tinked back and I just kept it in stockinette and just finished off the bottom with the ribbing. So yeah, this is It's a wonderful, huge shawl. Really a wonderful kind of cozy, cozy knit. So yeah, yeah. And something that you can surely fashion or, you know, wear with a shawl pin, or, you know, you can just drape it over your shoulders the other way. It really has quite a bit of material to it, so it really feels good and nice and cozy. So yeah, very proud of this, loving it. You can see all the yarn overs and a little bit of texture with some stockinette. So it's a nice project for like an advanced beginner or an adventurous beginner. There is some counting, or, you know, you have to keep track of your increases. That's why I only say, you know, I say advanced beginner or, you know, adventurous beginner, because of the increases that you have to keep track of. But other than that, just gorgeous. So yeah, highly recommend. Yeah, and I blocked it and everything. It was great. So yeah, so that's the Sunday Morning Shawl by Espace Tricot, and that is a free pattern on Ravelry. Gotta like free. The next thing I wanted to show you was my Brookdale vest. I did get, I think I had it started, and I had to kind of restart it, but that's okay. So let me show you the Brookdale vest. Let me see if I have a picture of it. I had it here somewhere. Hard for me to keep track of everything, right? So that's the Brookdale vest. And this is by Elizabeth Smith, who hails from Maine, Freeport, Maine. And I am doing my vest in Briggs & Little. This is their Heritage. So it's kind of like a heavy worsted weight yarn. And this is the mauve colorway. And let's see. So like I said, I started it and I had to restart. What happened was, let me get the picture out again. I had a little mishap. She has this texture thing going on up the front. And I noticed a little mishap. I got about, good four inches in, and I noticed a little mishap down here. And I think what happened was I knitted when I should have purled, or I purled when I knitted. I tried to drop the stitches down to try to fix them, but because you're doing some twisted stitches, it's kind of hard to read the knitting at that point. And there were several rows I had to drop down. So normally I would have left it go. But after I thought about it a while, I thought, you know what, I am going to see that every single time I look at this vest. So it's fine. The other problem I had was I was doing a really large size, too large for me. And once I had it off the needles, I realized that, like, when I just pulled the needle out and then measured it on myself, and it was huge. So what I did was I went down, not one size, but two. And I think this is going to work better for me. So this is only my progress so far on the second try. But it's okay. You know, it's all good. Knitting is supposed to be relaxing, and it's supposed to be what, you know, you like, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with ripping back if I need to. So there it is. Not much progress, but that's okay. And hopefully next time around I will be able to show you more on that. I did go down a needle size from what the pattern calls for, because I tend to be a real loose knitter, and so what happens is my stitches are pretty big, and so I have to like make them smaller with a smaller needle. But that's okay. It's all okay. Yeah, let me see. Number 7 needle. I think the pattern calls for number 8 needles. So this is my swatch that I did earlier in the summer, because I thought I was going to cast this on early in the summer, but it's okay. It's fall. Fall's coming, although we're supposed to have 80-degree weather for the festival this weekend, which is just crazy. Yeah, and our leaves are early this year. The turning of the leaves is early this year because of the drought. And so, but I still think it's going to be a lovely weekend. It always is. It never disappoints. So I'm looking forward to probably not wearing anything wool this weekend, just because I run warm, and that won't do. So, but yeah, spinning and then, you know, perusing a fiber festival, it's all good. What more can you ask for? So that was my Brookdale vest. And then finally, I wanted to show you something else I'm working on. If you recall, I had some JC Ronnie that I was using, JC Ronnie yarn that I used for a vest, the mosaic cardi vest that from Nomad Stitches that I made several months ago. And I had quite a bit left over from the yarn. So what I decided to do was, in keeping with your leftovers and scrap yarn, I looked into this book, 52 Weeks of Scrap Yarn, and I am making these, which combine crochet and knitting. These are called the Bobble Pop. Yeah, Bobble Pop, and as you can see, they're kind of wristers. There's no thumb hole involved here. They're just kind of lower arm warmers, and they're kind of really scrappy, and so you can just kind of design as you go along. This is a pattern by Jen Yard, and it's part of this book, the 52 Weeks of Scrap Yarn, and this is by Laine Publishing. And I just wanted to show you what I did here. I had 7 colors of the JC Ronnie, and you start with the granny squares first, and then you pick up stitches on both sides of them to knit up the rest of the wristers. But see, these are the 4 of the 7 colors that I have, along with a dog hair. Yeah, I think this is Red Hot. Forget what this one's called. I have the ball band somewhere, but you get the idea. It's a fingering weight yarn. So if you've got fingering weight kicking around, your little scraps from making scarves or from making socks. So you make the granny squares, and then I ended up blocking the granny squares before I sewed them together. So that's one cuff. And then the other cuff is right here. And you can see I'm working on the knitting part now. So I decided, since I needed 4 granny squares each, so I had 8, I needed 8 altogether. So that means I had to repeat one color. I decided to repeat the brown in both. But other than that, they're kind of different. So, yeah, so here's the second cuff. And then here I'm making these fun baubles. Now, I know I just got done saying that I didn't put the baubles in my shawl, my Sunday morning shawl. But these are on a very small project. I can see the end coming. with these. And they're actually fun because they're worked with a crochet hook. So it's right up my alley. But let me show you those bobbles. Hopefully the lighting is good there and you can see that detail there. Yeah, these are kind of addicting. So I am just basically working the pattern and choosing colors as I go, so that they're really going to be kind of scrappy. The only scrappy thing I didn't do that she did was multicolored granny squares, only because I just wanted to be on gauge with this. And I thought, well, let me just do them in solid colors, and that way, you know, I know they'll all be the same size, and then I can experiment later. So yeah, that's the Bobble Pop by Jen Yard. Yeah, lots of fun, you know, and it's kind of good to start making all these little accessories to keep your hands warm and your shoulders warm, as here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in fall and we're going towards winter, so always good. So that's all of my kind of makes, whips, FOs. I'm going to just share something with you that I got while I was in Nova Scotia. We were in the area of, stayed in the area of kind of Halifax, Peggy's Cove, that southern area. Had a nice little Airbnb right on the water, which was great. And you'll see some pictures of that shortly. But I managed to get into the Mariner's Daughter in Lunenburg, which is a very nice yarn shop in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. And it is the very shop that Amy Christoffers went into and picked out yarn for the Lunenburg sweater, or the Lunenburg pullover. And so this is the Lunenburg pullover. And it's done in the lichen and lace yarn, which is produced in Canada. While I was there, I decided that it was going to be one of those nostalgic things for me to buy the actual Lunenburg yarn at the Lunenburg store. You know, it wasn't, you know, it was one of those things. So, and I also wanted to do mine in a different main color from what she did. Her main colors, I think, or either you can have a choice of the lake color, which is blue, or the cold color, which is kind of a gray. I'll just show you. I chose to do this lovely evergreen color for the body of the sweater, and got enough of that for the sweater. So here is the body of the sweater, the evergreen color. And then I got the pollen color, which is in the same as the pattern, as well as the sky color. But then I switched up the type of green so that it would kind of not clash with the evergreen. So normally you would get, let me just make sure I have the right color name. You would buy the shrub color, which is a kind of, well, it's a different green. It's like a medium green. I chose the sage color instead. Thought that would look better with this. And then also, this is the birch color. She didn't have any birch in stock, but this is from Briggs and Little. This is the Sport from Briggs and Little, which is the same. It's the same mill that the lichen and lace is spun at. So I got that same weight for the birch. So this is what the color work is going to look like. Yeah. So can't wait to start that. That is just going to be really, really cool. It's been sitting here in this bag since I got home, and I wanted to bust it out, but I was waiting until I could sit down and record an episode here with you. Yeah, and so that will be a fun project for the fall, winter. I may even do like elbow length sleeves on it, just because I'm tending to like that where that hits me, you know, that length of sleeve. And I always tend to wear long sleeve t-shirts under my knits anyway, so we'll have a little, you know, t-shirt peeking out here that I can push up if I'm doing stuff in the kitchen or whatever. So yeah, that's my thought process, at least. I'll put that over there. All right, so yeah, that's the Lunenburg sweater from Amy Christoffers. Yeah, she's also known as Savory Knitting. Yeah, she brought us the Pressed Flowers cardigan and other iterations and other patterns. So okay, I think that's going to do it for me this time around. If you're going to Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival, don't be shy. Say hello to me. I'll be there like on Sunday. And yeah, and enjoy the fall. Enjoy the cooler weather, and stay safe and keep crafting. And I will see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.